Okay guys, there's the place out of the wind. I think that I can get this shelter, emergency shelter built. We've got a snag there that's sticking out that looks like it'll hold up some weight, so that's what I'm going to try to do, is build an emergency shelter right there. Emergency situation, guys. There's plenty of people who lose their life every year because they don't know how to build an emergency shelter. In this video, this is really cold out here today, guys. It's supposed to snow and freezing rain, so we need to get a shelter built. And I'm going to take you along on this journey. See how we do it. Use what you can find, you guys. The one thing, it's wet and cold out here. That'll help it a lot right there. Alright you guys, there's what it's looking like so far. I've cut them pine trees down right there. If I can find some more, I'm going to cut a few more of them. And then we'll take, since I do have a raincoat right there, we'll take that raincoat and lay it right over the biggest part of where this thing's where I'm gonna be setting up. And that way, I'll have more water shed off of me. But in survival situations, this is what a shelter is gonna look like. And we're talking about emergencies here, guys. If you think it's not raining out there, you can see the water coming out of my gloves. It is cold out here and going to get colder. So everything's wet, but we still got to try to survive this. That's what it's looking like from the outside, you guys. Nothing fancy. Guys, that's what it's looking like so far. And this has been just about an hour. Just remember one thing. In an emergency, the weather is going to force you to do something to survive. And you know, a little bit of a shelter, guys, is better than no shelter. And that's what reality looks like right there. Now I did take that raincoat I got and put it over top of there, so that'll create one perfectly dry spot. But the rest of it's just going to be pine needles and leaves and bark. And look at that right there, you guys. That's some perfect roofing right there. Check that out. Perfect roofing. Wow. Look at that. That's where the lightning struck this tree on top of this mountain and split it all the way from the top to the bottom. Sometimes you just get lucky. Here's what you do with your tree bark, guys. Use it just like shingles. That's a whole lot better than it was an hour ago anyway. Okay guys, there's what she's looking like. Now guys, here's the reality of real survival. I'm out here in the mountain. It's about 2,200 feet up. It's going to get freezing cold, or snow and ice is supposed to come through here. And you know, tonight I could probably survive in this shelter the way I am, but here it is. Here's reality. I've already got wet from the knees down, guys, just from building this shelter right here, going around and gathering up junk and everything soaking wet. So I need to build a fire in this wet situation right here. So now my next priority, I want to have a fire, because it would just make this situation a whole lot better. Okay guys, check this out right here. I've actually got to build a shelter to get the fire started, because it's starting to rain again, and this is going to be outside the shelter, so I've actually got to build a shelter over the fire before I can even try to start this fire right here. So that's what this is right here. The fire will be in here if I can get it started. Okay guys, I'm shredding up some standing locust right there, an old locust stump, and see if I can get that fire started with it. That looks pretty dry. It's not completely dry, but I'm gonna see if we can do that. Something your survival knife can't do, guys, I guarantee you that. Okay you guys, after some searching around about 100 yards away from here, I finally did find a piece of fat wood. I'm just lucky. This place has been cut out, the trees has been cut out of it for years, but I finally found a piece of fat wood, so hopefully that'll get this fire started, I hope. Tell you one thing, you guys, that's a sight for sore eyes. Look at this. I found that laying up in there to lay over top of there to keep the rain from getting on my dry wood inside there. But you talking about some miraculous stuff, that fat wood definitely is. So let me see if that stuff will burn. Just because it's flaring up there right now, I don't mean that whole core, guys, will catch on fire in there, because that stuff is extremely wet. Alright you guys, there's how you build a survival shelter and get yourself a fire going. Thank God for that fat wood. Tell you one thing, I can sure feel the heat coming back off. That'll burn for a long time now. All this stuff right here, guys, these gloves that I was wearing are soaking wet. Now, yeah, I do have a survival blanket, and that survival blanket is at least going to keep me off of that cold, wet ground. What do you think, guys? That's one way to build yourself a shelter and get in out of the weather. Now I'll guarantee you sometime after a while it's going to start sleeting like crazy, according to the weather channel that I was watching before I come out here in the woods. Now I didn't plan on staying out here tonight, but I did plan on showing you guys how to set up a shelter in this type of weather, build you a fire, and just show you what reality really looks like if you're out here and you just happen to get stuck, and plenty of people do it. Experienced people do it. But more than that, there's lots of couch potato survivalists that never, guys, get out in the woods, but they know everything there is about survival because they watch survival shows. They're fooling themselves, you guys. Anyway, guys, that's another tip from old Mike Reed Outdoors. You guys have a great weekend. Thanks for watching, and God bless. Well, for you producers of the Alone Show, this is my video to say, hey, I might be an old timer, but I can take just anything you can throw at me, and if you don't believe it, you give me a try. I guarantee you that we'll have some fun on the Alone Show if you'll just let me get on there. Woo, doggies.